Guam is getting so crazy. That's what a Talafofa woman said after waking up to see a man shot dead in the middle of her neighborhood street. A harsh and heartbreaking reality as a local family is forced to say goodbye to their son. His name is Joshua Taitagui. So, makes you wonder, is our island safe? You can decide. Register to vote. Period. Hafide and welcome to the Hub. I'm Nick Delgado. 25 candidates are running to be your senator in the 38th Guam legislature. Only 15 will make it to lead. Their fates rest with you, the voters. We continue hearing from those candidates. Tonight, we've got on the Republican ticket newcomer Sabrina Salas Matanane and former Senator Tony Atta. Incumbent Frank Blas Jr. was scheduled to join us but is unable to attend. And under the Democrat ballot, we had incumbent Therese Terlahi and newcomer David Crisostomo scheduled to appear as well, but they were also unable to join us. So let's get to it. For the first round, each candidate gets 60 seconds to speak to the voters. Tell them a little bit about each of you. But first, a woman placed under arrest overdosed on fentanyl while being held at the Tumon Police Precinct. She survived and is being monitored under watch. It caused panic, especially for police officers, as fentanyl is known to be lethal. From our streets to inside our prison, fentanyl is here. Now, I want to get your feedback as candidates on this issue, and you could get about 10 seconds each to kind of just give your feedback. I'll let you decide who goes first.
I can go first. First, I'd like to say that when I worked here 2 years ago, we talked about how fentanyl is a growing problem and it's coming to Guam. Now it's here, and we have to be aggressive. We need to lock up these drug dealers, period.
Okay.
We also need to control our borders and make sure that we can have a tight system to where we can catch these drugs before they even enter our island.
Thank you both for that quick response. That was our icebreaker. Now to the introduction. Again, each of you getting 60 seconds here to talk to the voters. And we'll start with you to look into that camera.
Hafide Nick and Hafide to the people of Guam. I'm Tony Atta, and I've served as your senator in the 30th and 33rd Guam legislature and the 36th. I've introduced many legislations that dealt with our economy, public safety, education, and public health. My notable legislations were carjacking, home invasion, and castle doctrine. I am also a veteran of the United States Army. I am a father of 4 and grandfather of 2. My wife Annette and I, we're proud parents and grandparents. I hope that you'll get to know more about us as we continue on in this segment here. And then also, if you're able to, go onto my webpage at tonyatta.com. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Atta. Sabrina?
Hafide, everybody. I'm Sabrina Salas Matanane. I am number 1 on the Republican side of the ballot. As many of you know, I actually sat in the seat that Nick Delgado is sitting in and is serving in for more than 20 years. I was news director here at KUAM. I was managing director. So it's safe to say that you know me. I've celebrated with you through some of Guam's greatest times, and I've been there for you through some of Guam's gravest times. For the past 2 years, I've been working in the construction industry for a locally owned firm. And within those past 2 years, I'm proud to say that I've been part of a team that has been able to garner several multi-million-dollar local and federal contracts. So I'm humbly asking for your vote, and once again, your trust. I am number 1 on the Republican side of the ballot.
Thank you both for those introductions. We appreciate it. Your Decision 2024 election show continues with more questions for the candidates after the break. You're watching The Hub. Welcome back to your Decision 2024 election show, The Hub. Now each candidate will be given 30 seconds each to answer questions in this round. And so we'll ask the first question starting with Sabrina. Guam certainly needs a new public hospital, but one major issue has been over where to put it. If elected, what specific plans do you have to get the job done so the people can have the medical facility they deserve?
I think it's unfortunate that we still can't make a decision or on where to put a new hospital. When I worked here 2 years ago, I remember at the time it was, we were going to build it over at Eagles Field. Of course, that didn't fall through. Then Agaga came about, and then now the Oka Point. But again, no one seems to agree on where it should be built. So I actually asked, because I had a conversation with former Governor Eddie Calvo, former Governor Joseph Atta, and former Governor Felix Camacho, and the answer is compromise. We need to work together.
Thank you, Senator Atta.
Yeah, Nick, I believe that a decision needs to be made, and that decision needs to be made at the legislature. Whether they have it at Oka Point or Agaga, something needs to be done immediately because time is ticking. And the longer that we take to make a decision where the hospital is going to be placed, the longer it's going to take to get built. How much time does the current GMH have? We're not sure. We don't know. They got electrical issues. They have leakage all over the place. They have structural damages. So a decision needs to be made, and it should be made immediately.
Thank you. So this next question, we'll start with you again, Senator Atta. Bending the rules, the pari-pari system, as many here would call it, is a real thing. Most time, government corruption isn't brought to light until someone blows the whistle and reports it. What will you do to hold those caught accountable?
We always have to hold people accountable, especially when it comes to breaking the law or even, like you said, bending the rules. I think we need to enforce the laws and even strengthen the laws that we have on public corruption. And we need to put that forth before anything else, because if the public cannot have trust in our government to do things right, then who can they trust?
Okay. Sabrina?
I think really, I'd like to thank first and foremost the whistleblower that came forward regarding what's happening at Civil Defense and Guam Homeland Security, because we're looking at the possibility of having to reimburse the federal government more than $40 million. So thank you to that whistleblower. I think we kind of know who it is. But yeah, I think we definitely need to protect those individuals that come forward and report when they see corruption happening.
Thank you. All right, next question. This one will start with Sabrina. Recovering from the storm is still an ongoing process, even more than 1 year later. What will you do to make sure Guam is able to get back on its feet faster whenever hit by the unexpected, like a typhoon?
Well, working in the construction industry, we definitely saw the need for recovery, right, to happen a lot quicker. And I think the way, and from what I understand, the way things started moving forward was when we actually reached out to the federal government. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers was quick and rapid when they took over the procurement, and contracts started to flow, and we started to see the recovery happening. So maybe a better relationship. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Maybe more communication.
Thank you. That's your time.
The federal government.
Senator Atta.
Thank you. I think that what we need to do is ensure that we work with the utility agencies, both power and water, because I think that once we get power back online quicker and water back into the homes quicker, people would be able to go back out into the workforce and start to rebuild and get our island back on track. So these are the important issues that need to be brought forth. And I think that what has to happen is that we work together with the administration, the legislature, and the utility agencies to move these issues forward.
Okay, thank you both for your responses to those questions. Keep it locked here to your Decision 2024 election show. Time for another break. This is The Hub. Welcome back to your Decision 2024 show, The Hub. Candidates, you each will get 30 seconds this round to answer after hearing a question from a member of our community. It's part of The Hub we call What We Want.
Ron, Harmon, like Simon Sanchez needs to be up. They need a school right now. and pretty much the healthcare too as well. I think we need that, especially for the elderlies and just us. What would you do to better our education system, right? Yeah, and what would you do to better our healthcare system on Guam?
Ron, a little ambitious with his questions there, but go ahead and decide. You only have 30 seconds again for this question. We'll start with you, Senator Addett.
I think as Ron has said with the Simon Sanchez issue, bringing a construction management team on board, I think was the right move forward. But I think that needs to be done throughout the entire school system so that we can ensure that the work that is being done in our schools are being done properly. And that way we have someone to hold accountable should the work not be done. We can say, hey, you need to come back and redo this. Oversight of what's going on in our schools, especially when it comes to maintenance, needs to be happening. And you know what? Let's put the maintenance people back into the schools.
Okay, thank you. Sabrina?
First and foremost, Simon Sanchez High School, it commemorates 50 years since it first opened its doors, initially as a middle school, now it's a high school, and I completely understand the frustrations of the students. But I think, and kind of leaning on what Senator Addett said about maintenance, maybe the Guam Department of Education should look into just an overall maintenance contract with one specific vendor. Same thing with grounds maintenance, because you see all the problems at a Southern High School and the community there in Santa Rita coming together to try and fix the facilities down there and cut the grass. But maybe, yeah, we should have one contractor for grounds maintenance and one contractor for school maintenance.
Okay, thank you so much for those responses. Let's hear from another voter.
My name is Joseph Orpilla. Dededo. Because we're now really, especially hotel, restaurant, really, they were striving. We even cut hours for our employees, to try to make a living. So please do something of our economy, our tourist industry, whatever. Do something about it, because it's not only for us, for them too. The economy will be better for everybody.
There you go. So Sabrina, we'll start with you. He wants to know what you will do to better the economy and our tourism industry.
I certainly feel his frustration, and I know that a lot of people are feeling the same way. But what I can say is that, I attended a Guam Chamber of Commerce event, and one of the things that they were talking about, and actually it's been talked about for years, is lowering the BPT and also perhaps even exploring the conversion to a sales tax. Some of the other things that they talked about was about resolving the issues with government procurement as well as the permitting process, because a lot of businesses, there's so many delays with permitting.
Thank you. Senator Addett?
Well, as you know, that the yen right now is really down, so absolutely that has an effect on our tourism from the Japan market. We need to look at and see where else can we get our tourists from. Not just Korea, not just Japan. Have you heard in the news about Air Nauru looking and negotiating to see to come back and flying back this way to Guam? Are we able to get Australians now to come to Guam, New Zealanders to come to Guam? These are markets that we can actually explore, and hopefully that tourism will start to regenerate and build again from the bottom up.
Okay, thank you both for those responses. Let's get to another question from our viewer.
Okay, my name is Jesse Pineda. I live in Dededo, Guam, in Harmon Loop. My question is higher wages for us. I want to know what big help for us for higher wages for local people like us here in Guam.
All right, Jesse needs some help with getting paid. So we'll start with Senator Addett for this question.
Thank you, Nick, and thank you, Jesse, for the question. When you look at what's going on, we have to look at reducing the BPT. The BPT can actually put money back into the companies so that they can turn around and invest into their companies and also invest into their employees. When you see what the surpluses are coming into the government of Guam, that comes from the private industry. So we need to take a step back, lower it back down to 4%. Give these companies the opportunity to give their employees higher wages and better benefits.
Thank you. Sabrina?
Well, I agree with Senator Atta's comments, but I'd like to also kind of bring something else up, and that is workforce development. I think that we need to provide different or better training programs and equipping our residents with I guess, training so that they can attain higher paying jobs. And I'm talking about like jobs in IT. I know that's a big thing. We've got $156 million in BEAD funding that's here on Guam, and we need to use it.
Okay, thank you both for those responses. Let's keep the energy up and the questions coming. These candidates get a final round here on the Hub when we return. Elected to make and change laws that govern what we do. This is your Decision 2024 election show, The Hub. We want to thank the candidates for joining us here today. Now to your next question. This one will start with you, Sabrina. Potholes and uneven lanes. If you are a Guam driver, chances are you're familiar with the conditions on the road. Are you in favor of prioritizing the repair and upgrade of Guam's roads and bridges in the next legislature?
I'm sorry, what was the last part of that?
Are you in favor of prioritizing the repair and upgrades of Guam's roads in the next legislature?
Absolutely. You know, I live here, of course. I don't want to keep running over the potholes and the bumpy roads. But unfortunately, you know, this shouldn't be happening. You know, we should be fixing the potholes, and I don't understand why. You know, when I drive home at night, sometimes there's no street lights on, you know, and there's no pavings on the roads. And I'm actually very scared when I go down the back road to Anderson and with my son, he's like, Mom, you know, why do you keep going down this road? You know, it's like it's a shortcut, you know. So, but yeah, absolutely, I would prioritize that.
Okay. Senator Adam?
You know, we have federal funds to take care of the routed roads and bridges. More needs to be done to get these projects out. And perhaps it has to do a lot with the workforce. But they need to prioritize the roadways and the bridges. On secondary roads, those also need to be taken care of. And I believe that the administration has the funds to take care of secondary roads. They need to start also taking those and paving them. And, you know, they may not be able to pave a whole street, but at least start filling in the potholes and start filling in where they can so that we don't have to worry about dodging the pothole and actually hitting someone or an animal.
Thank you. Thank you for your responses. Now, we'll start with you, Senator Adam, for this next question. You've seen time and time again the divide that happens on session floor with our senators. So will you pledge to work with members of the opposite party to pass legislation that benefits all residents on Guam?
You know, Nick, I've been in the legislature from the 30th to the 33rd. I've been minority leader for 2 terms. In the 36th legislature also. I've always worked across the aisles. There is no other way to do things. You have to work together. You have to work with the administration. You have to work with the judiciary. You even have to work with our congressional representative, because these are important. You know, these are issues that should be able to be a one Guam effect. You know, let's not just be a one Guam to the federal government. Let's be a one Guam to our people.
Okay. Sabrina?
I'm the type of person that can work with anybody. You know, for me, deciding to run, it wasn't particularly about a specific party, clearly, but for me, it really is about the people. I don't think we should be fighting in the legislature amongst each other, but fighting for the people of Guam.
Thank you both for those responses. Now, candidates, it's your time to shine. You each get a final 60 seconds here on the Hub to speak to the voters. So make it count. And you can also make it count by going out to register to vote, of course. But first, we'll start with you, Sabrina, with giving your closing statements right here to the voters.
Thank you, Nick. Thank you for the wonderful staff and management here at KUAM for affording me and all the other candidates this opportunity to connect with your viewers. As I mentioned earlier, I worked here for more than 20 years, so you know me. The type of person that I am is that I'm first one in, last one out. I am a hard worker, but to all of you, just going around and talking with you, I want you to know that I hear you, I'm listening, I see your struggles, and I feel and share your frustrations. I'm humbly asking for your support and your vote. Let's bring change to Guam together. I'm number one, again, on the Republican side of the ballot.
Thank you, Sabrina. Senator Addett?
Thank you, Nick, and thank you to KOAM and to the staff and management as well. You know, I've always worked with many leaders, both on the Democrat side and the Republican side, former and present. And it's all about for our people. It's always been about our people. It is about our people, and it will always be about our people. We need to learn to work together to ensure that we are able to benefit everything that we were able to achieve, that our people will be able to get it. I'm asking you for your support for the 38th Guam Legislature. I'm Tony Atta. I'm number 13 on the ballot. And please, you want to know more about me, if you see me out on the road, just ask me. Or you can even go to my website at tonyattaforguam.com. And I have my bio, I have my past legislations, things that I've done in the past that in the legislature. So again, I humbly ask for your support and your vote in this coming primary election. Thank you.
Sabrina, Senator Addett, thank you both so much for your time. And you also out there can make it count by hitting the polls this primary on when?
August 3rd.
August 3rd. They know. Now you know too. Catch us here on the Hub next Wednesday to hear from more of your senatorial candidates and watch all Decision 2024 interviews on KUAM's YouTube channel. I'm Nick Delgado. Remember, you can always visit KUAM.com for all your election coverage. Stay safe, and we'll see you soon.